Michael Lombardi, I heard an interview that he did with Brian Murphy on KMBR. I'm driving around. He's got a quote from Michael Lombardi, and it's about Trey. And it's like you can kind of tell Lombardi doesn't like Trey. Either he doesn't believe in Trey. He thinks he's raw,
Because he's
whatever.
seen him play so much. Yeah, okay, keep going.
Right. Nobody's seen him play, but
Right.
Lombardi seems to be like overly negative. When I say overly negative, that's my impression. I had an interview with Randy Mueller, the former GM of the Dolphins and Saints, on the channel months ago. I said, "Where did you have Trey ranked?" He said, "You know what, Lair? I didn't even have Trey ranked at all because his resume
That's
was
fair.
so short and so small that I didn't feel like there was enough tape to even properly evaluate him. So I didn't have him on my
Yeah,
board at all." And I
that's
thought that
fair.
was really interesting. So I guess I'll
Yeah.
throw it to you this way. Why do you think the scouting community, to some degree, and maybe I'm using two guys and grouping them all with the scouting community, but why do you think the scouting community seems to be down on Trey Lance before really any of us fans have been able to watch him really play and get a real handle on what he's good at, what he's bad at, what he needs to work on? I mean, he might be a star. He might be a bust. I haven't seen enough. I think he's going to get there because of traits, but I don't know if it's going to be short term. I think it's going to be long term. But it does seem like the scouting community is against Trey. What do you think they've seen from him, or what are they hearing, or are they getting
Yeah.
it from the Niners? What's your read on that?
See, that's the thing. It's like they haven't seen anything more than we've seen. So it's just people with opinions based on very little sample. Who drafted Trey Lance? I'm thinking there were a lot of scouts on the Niners who liked him. Guys who've been in the organization a long time. I bet you Adam Peters freaking loved him. So I don't know. People outside the organization have opinions, but they're not here. They don't really know. I think the thing that's so unique about Trey Lance is he's just a giant unknown. There's no body of work. There's no body of work. Not in high school, not in college, not now. And you can say, well, a guy like that's not going to succeed. Maybe, but that's just in general. That's theoretical. We really don't know what's going to happen with him. And I think that's why the Niners maybe need to hedge their bet. It's year 3 of Trey Lance. And the plan was for him to have some starts under his belt, his 4 games under his belt. What do? Do you just hand the team to him for half a season if Brock Purdy can't come back and hope for the best? Clearly not. Now they're hedging their bets. And it's like, you have to. Because, and there's a lot of people who are at fault for this, but that's the way it is in year 3 of the Trey Lance experience.
So you're in agreement that they have to hedge their bet. That
Yeah.
they can't go all in on Trey and just wait for Brock. They have to hedge.
They're all in with Trent Williams. We just talked about that, right? They're all in for this season with Trent Williams. It could be his last. And the plan was for Trey Lance to be ready right now, but he's not. He has 4 starts and he's coming off a serious injury. He's not even fully cleared to practice yet. So they have to bring in someone else. It could end up being Trey Lance, but they don't know. They don't know. And it's too much at stake to just cross your fingers.
Okay. What does the Darnold money tell you about how the Niners view the quarterback room? I did a thing with Vish the other day, and he thinks that money and the fact that Darnold took this offer on day 1 of free agency means that he may have either a promise from them that either the room's going to be thinner, he's going to have a shot at the top job. He did get $3.5 million guaranteed. That's not a lot for number 2, Grant, but it is a lot for number 3. What is the money that Trey
It's
got
number 2
you?
money.
Yeah.
It's number 2 money. And I think that's interesting. So that means, like, is he competing with Lance to be the number 2, or is Brock not coming back as soon as the Niners have made it seem? Like, what the Niners have seen is, hey, 6 months, he'll be back. But that's like best case scenario. It's possible that privately the Niners are like, look, we'd love him to be back. We hope he's back in 6 months, but we really don't know. And the surgeon said, be cautious and be ready for this to take a little bit longer. So actually, Sam, there's a possibility that you could start week 1. If you really impress us in the offseason and Trey Lance doesn't, you could start week 1 for this team. I mean, we don't know that Brock Purdy's starting week 1. There could be an opportunity to start on this team. Maybe that's the way Sam Darnold looks at it. It's like, look, all I got to do is compete with this guy who started 4 games and played 1 season in college. Like, I'm not that good, but I'm better than him. I'm thinking that's what Sam Darnold's thinking. He hasn't even seen him play. He doesn't know Trey Lance.